Welcome back, guys, to another video on the channel. I hope you guys are well. Today we have a new video for you talking about the latest news regarding Declan Rice and Chelsea. Some news that have come out from other sources saying that Declan Rice wants to leave West Ham. Before we get into it, giving him my thoughts, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the like button on the video. Now, this is just another piece of negative news. I really am getting sick and tired of sort of making videos that or just negative. Like, this is another bit of negative news after, David Sullivan going on TalkSport. We do not really need this, and it all really stems back to, it's well known that Chelsea want Declan Rice. It was well known that they were going to go after Declan Rice as the final piece of the jigsaw when they signed Edouard Mendy. Edouard Mendy has been confirmed as a Chelsea player today, so now all eyes, all attention is on Declan Rice and whether he will be moving to Chelsea or not. And XWHU employee on the 17th of September, he randomly put this out. Well, I wouldn't say randomly. There was reports in the one of the might have been the Independent or somewhere, basically saying that Declan Rice was pushing for a move to Chelsea, that he was not going to hand in a transfer request, but he was going to tell the board that he wants to move to Chelsea, that he does want to leave West Ham, but he doesn't want to put an official transfer request because he has respect for us as fans. And I can sort of see what he's saying. And he goes on to say, as much as Rice loves West Ham, it's obvious that he would be tempted by a move to Chelsea. We haven't delivered any hope of making progression. They've only shown their ambitions, and his family are all big Chelsea fans. It will be a sad day, but an understandable one. Now, Fabrizio Romano today, obviously, he confirmed, well, he didn't confirm, but Chelsea confirmed the signing of Edouard Mendy. He goes on to say, Chelsea have not made an official bid yet for Declan Rice. Talks are now ongoing with his agent, Declan Rice's agent, but now it's time to sell/loan players. Then Chelsea will open talks in the next few days with West Ham. Now, traditional transfers is that, you would obviously bid for a player, it will get accepted, then you would then go and talk to a player and then the agent. Now, a lot of deals is like you talk to the agent first because, you just talk to the agent first. You sort of get a gauge of whether the player wants to join the club. Then you actually go and then talk to the club itself. So it looks like Chelsea are having negotiations with Declan Rice's agent. And then once they're able to sell or loan out some players and get some funds in after their mad spending spree, they would then be able to go and put an offer in and have talks with West Ham. Now, what have we done just as a football club? What have we done? Like, as I said, it's just a negative story after negative story. David Sullivan sort of comes out yesterday on TalkSport saying that we've got no money. And I did say in that video that Chelsea would see that and sort of smell blood. And I can honestly see them signing, Declan Rice before the end of the transfer window. And where do I sit? We have failed him as a football club. I know he wasn't part of the 2015-2016 team, but right then, the first season in Olympic Stadium, we should have made a statement. We should have spent 100 million back then. That was our chance to sort of climb up the football pyramid. We've always been sort of a team that flirts with relegation, has one good season where we might finish in the mid-table. We had that one very good season under Slaven Bilic where we finished 7th. And that first season in Olympic Stadium, everything just goes back to the owners. And I hate mentioning them, but everything just goes back to the owners. We should have backed Slaven Bilic because we should have been a club like Wolves. It's actually hard to think about that. Wolves were actually in the Championship 3 seasons ago. I think this is the 4th season back in the Premier League. So 3 seasons ago, they were in the Championship. Would you have said when they got promoted from the Championship, yes, they have some very good contacts in regards to Mendes, who's a super agent who has Cristiano Ronaldo on his books, but would you have said that they would have gone to a Europa League quarter-final? When are we ever going to say that of West Ham? We will probably never say this in my lifetime, that West Ham will actually reach a quarter-final of a major European competition. And then they're going out spending, they're improving the squad, spending 40 million. That should have been us. When we had that opportunity, when we had Payet, when we were sort of like peak of our reputation, we had a World Cup, we had a player that was getting linked to Real Madrid. He stayed at West Ham for 6 months. He saw Kelleher come through the door. He saw Zaza come through the door. He saw Nordveit. When really he was wanting some kind of players that was on a similar calibre of Payet. And that has just been a downward spiral. And with Declan Rice, you know, it's been made clear to Declan that West Ham want to build a team around him. We want to build a team around him, great. However, he's one of our lowest paid players at the club. If he's our best player and you want to build a team around him, surely you would want to offer him a contract. Boom, here's 100k a week. If we're going to offer anyone 100k a week, Declan Rice is the man we should be offering 100k a week to, not anyone else. We should not be justifying paying players like Lanzini 100k a week, like Jack Wilshere 100k a week, and then paying our best player 40, 50, 60k a week, whatever it is. Maybe even less than 40k, I don't know. But we should be the ones that are paying 100k a week. And then you got to be, actions speak much louder than words. You know, we should have then been, you know what, we want to build a team around Declan. We're going to spend money. But it's just not happened. And now he sees himself in this position that he sort of has to leave West Ham, right? So he wants to go to Chelsea because he wants to, you know, he wants to play in the Champions League. And yes, well, West Ham will probably, even if we did have the back in, right, we might never have got Champions League. But at least you see Wolves, you know, we might have had more chance convincing him to stay if he was in Europa League at least. You know, Arsenal, for example, they've kept hold of Aubameyang. Yes, Arsenal are a much bigger club, much more, you know, just global than West Ham. However, they're only in the Europa League and they've been able to then give Aubameyang the money he wants and then convince him to stay. We should have been in that position. We should have pushed on. However, we're now in a position where we are selling our main asset. Now, obviously, there's loads of rumours going about how much should we be getting for Declan Rice. Obviously, in my opinion, I do not think we will get 80 million. I think if we're going to sell him in this window, it's probably going to be a player plus cash deal. And when you're looking at the Chelsea team and the players that they want to get rid of, it's well known apparently they want to get rid of Jorginho. They want to get rid of Rudiger. What players do West Ham actually want? They want to sell Barkley. They may consider loaning out Ruben Loftus-Cheek. The only ones that I would possibly take are Emerson, Tammy Abraham, and Tomori. Obviously, Jorginho, he would be a good signing for West Ham, but that's not realistic. You know, we're not playing FIFA career mode here. Like, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, he would be a good signing. Like, yes, he hasn't hit the form like he did before he had that massive injury. However, he is a good player and he's just sort of not, you know, it would be a good signing, but Chelsea would only consider probably sending him out on loan. Should we give up our best player to then get a player from Chelsea to then develop him and then send him back to Chelsea, probably a better player once he's got more experience and more game time? And I do understand a lot of fans are like, why would you, if you're putting yourself in Declan Rice's position, why would you leave West Ham to then join a team that once considered you not good enough, but now they want to re-sign you because now consider you good enough? And the thing is that I think West Ham fans sort of, you know, have to think about regarding Declan Rice is that, you know, he's not the same mould as Mark Noble. Mark Noble has that connection with West Ham. He was brought up in the area. He's a West Ham boy. We have to remember that Declan Rice was a Chelsea boy. He got thrown out of his boyhood club. He joined West Ham. Yes, he's been at West Ham since he's 14 years of age. However, he's still like young enough where he's like 21, where those Chelsea roots are still fully engraved in him. All of his family support Chelsea. His best mates at Chelsea. So whilst yes, he still has a connection with the club and maybe a small emotional connection because of what West Ham have done with Declan Rice, we give him the platform to sort of express his football. He now plays for England. He's an England regular starter. When you actually think of it, you know, why would he want to become a West Ham legend? Because it's probably never been his dream. His dream has probably been being a Chelsea legend, winning trophies with Chelsea. And I do see a lot of fans saying, well, he could become a legend here at West Ham. Why would you want to go back to Chelsea when they deemed you not good enough? However, how would you feel? For example, your employer at work has said, you're not good enough or you can't do something. Wouldn't you want to, yes, I see your argument saying, why would you want to go back? But wouldn't you want to go back and improve a point? Declan Rice, as much as people are saying, yes, why would you want to go back? He's probably thinking in his head, you know what, I'm going to go back to Chelsea. I'm going to prove a point as to why you should never have got rid of me in the first place. and I'm going to prove why you spent 50, 60 million plus a player or two, or whatever the price will be. I'm going to prove to you guys that I'm good enough to play for Chelsea. We're never going to be able to offer, Declan Rice, fulfill Declan Rice's ambitions. If he goes to Chelsea, apparently there's been rumours that now Lampard is actually going to, deploy him as a CDM and not as a centre back. So he's probably going to go to Chelsea, play in maybe like a 4-2-3-1, which of course when fans, he gets, to be fair, Declan Rice gets a lot of stick from other fans. Yeah, some Chelsea fans are not keen on him, but when he goes into that Chelsea team and people see the dirty work that he does and the fundamentals, what he will bring to that Chelsea team that allow him to do like the attackers like Havertz, Werner, what he allowed them to do, other fans would then be like, you know what, he is actually a good player. We all know he's a very good player, but we just can't fulfill his ambitions. Not under, not under this current ownership. Not what the stadium moving to the stadium promised. We was promised world class players, with a world class stadium with world class players, whatever way you want to put it. And one of he's not world class, but our best player is going to be more than likely going to be leaving. Whilst he doesn't want to make it an official transfer request, he's going to go to the board and speak about why he wants to leave West Ham. And to be honest, it's a very, very shitty scenario to be in, because there's a very good chance that we might get relegated even with Declan Rice in the team. Like, Declan Rice staying, doesn't make it like a guarantee that we would stay up. However, Declan Rice leaving pretty much cements our relegation to the Championship, because I've got no faith in the board reinvesting that money, especially as there's 11, 12 days or just under 2 weeks left of the transfer window. I've got no faith in this board reinvesting 50, 60 million on top of the 40 million that apparently we've got for other transfers that we're not spending. So I've got no faith of, investing this money wisely, because we would need to, replace him. Declan Rice is worth 80 to 90 million to West Ham. Maybe not because of his quality. Is he an 80 or 90 million player? Probably not. But he's worth to 80, 90 million to West Ham because West Ham would probably get relegated without him. So therefore, the amount of money West Ham would lose from getting relegated, he is worth that amount. So yeah, it's just a really, shitty scenario to be in right now. That we're a selling club still. We are still a selling club. Arnautovic, when he wanted to leave for money, he left. Payet left. Declan Rice will now leave. Well, might not leave, but if he does stay, this will be his last season at West Ham. That's 100%. He's seen West Ham as a whole just selling players. Ferdinand, Carrick, Joe Cole. Look at the careers they've gone and won. What have they gone and won? They've won Champions Leagues. They've won Premier League titles. Would Declan Rice, whilst, why would he want to start West Ham to become a legend when he can go and actually rejoin his boyhood club and possibly cement his name in history books when he might win a Premier League title, he might win the Champions League with them, he might become, an possible England captain whilst being a possible Chelsea captain. Everything is going towards Declan Rice being a Chelsea player sooner rather than later. It's all about now, what can West Ham do regarding a fee-wise? We just can't get mugged off. We cannot be accepting 40 or 50 million, because that would just be the end of it. And to be honest, even if we do sell Declan Rice for, say, 65, 70 million, they've sold Dean Garner, which caused uproar within the West Ham fan base. Imagine if we then go and sell Declan Rice and don't replace him, or spend or invest that money wisely. So yeah, you could probably tell by my voice, like I really can't be bothered to keep talking about West Ham in such a negative way, It's just one day you wake up, it's bad news after bad news after bad news. Yesterday it was Sullivan making everything public that we don't have any money, David Moyes wants Tarkowski, but we don't want to pay 40 million for him. It's the fans' fault that we got Pellegrini and a director of football. Now we've gone back to being more British with David Moyes. And, just... And now, obviously, Declan Rice, and people say, wait till X, WHU employee, says it. But as just this passage of message here pretty much underlines that Declan Rice does want to, join Chelsea. But however, he probably won't unless he feels he actually needs to put in a transfer request. And Fabrizio Romano, what kind of ITK has 1.9 million followers? This guy is the go-to in regards to European transfers with big clubs. And him saying it, yeah, it's just not good. It's not a good position. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about the possibility of Declan Rice more than likely leaving. Declan Rice wanting to leave West Ham. He hasn't put a transfer request in. Make sure you leave a comment on the video. Give your opinion. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.